Hello you guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at Vestas. They are the leading company in making new windmills and manufacturing them and setting them up and doing services on them. I've made another video on Vestas, but it is kind of low quality. It's kind of bad, to be honest. Doesn't go too much into depth with the whole how the company's financial situation is and stuff. So today we're going to use this website called Simply Wall Street. They have a lot of analysts sitting and making these reviews of the stocks. So today we are going to go through Vestas and also read up some stuff from the Wikipedia, so kind of get to know the company and get closer to understanding their business model. So let's just jump right into this Simply Wall Street. Go and check them out. You can basically find any company if you just search it up, the ticker symbol or the name in here, and then you can get these get kind of an overview over what the stock that you are potentially going to put your money into has to offer. So let's start with the exclusive summary. This is just a kind of a little tiny taste of what the company is about. Vestas Wind Systems designs, manufactures, installs and services wind turbines worldwide. Rewards. Earnings are forecast to grow with 10.06% per year. Earnings grew by 8.8% the past year. Risk analysis. High level of non-cash earnings. Volatile share price over the past 3 months. Shareholders have been diluted in the past year. And also, let me just pull up the graph right here on the stock so we can see here over the last year. They say we have been diluted as shareholders in this company, but and you can see we have also had a good bit of an increase right here with 122% up to New Year, and then it has fallen with 30%. So it has really taken a big step down. Yeah, it is kind of sad for us shareholders in the company, but I am sure that it will go up again, because they have all these wind turbine manufacturers. I've also looked at Ørsted here on the channel. They are having lots of trouble here in these times with the illness that we can't name. Their normal customers, the people who are normally buying the windmills and the countries who are spending on those things, they have cut their budget, of course, because of the things that is happening in the world right now. So I think we are also going to see that in on Simply Wall Street here. Share price and news. This doesn't really work when I have made this video, because it is kind of a more interactive thing where you can click around and see what happened after the financial updates and the dividends payments. But now we're just going to read this. So this is the ticker symbol for Vestas. So Vestas is more volatile than 75% of the Danish stocks over the past 3 months, typically moving 6% a week. Volatility over time. Vestas' weekly volatility, 6%, has been stable over the past year, but is still higher than 75% of Danish stocks. And here you can see the day return and on Vestas, which is not too bad, the 7-day return, sorry, and the market and the industry. The past year it has performed very well the past year, and the industry has done that as well. Return on versus industry. Vestas exceeded the Danish electrical industry, which returned 44.3% over the past year, and it exceeded the Danish market, which returned 27% the past year. Shareholders' returns in all of these, you can just, if that is something you're interested in. Long-term price volatility versus market. How volatile is Vestas Wind Systems share price compared to the market and industry in the past 5 years? So here is the average market volatility, which is the Danish market right here in the middle. The industry is higher than that. It is maybe it is kind of a volatile industry, and Vestas is a tiny bit below that. So it is it is not very volatile, to be honest. Alright, valuation. Is Vestas Wind System undervalued compared to its fair value and its price relative to the market? 39.5 times price to earnings PE ratio. Share price versus fair value. Fair price 590 kroners, and current price 1,150 kroners. So it is overvalued with almost 100%, according to these analysts making these estimates. Doesn't mean that the stock can't go up. Stocks can always go up, as we learned from Vestas, for example. But yeah, it is overvalued according to these. But this is an industry that is significantly more overvalued than the rest of the market, because this industry is what many thinks is the future, because of they're making windmills that is good for the environment, and that is of course the future. So that is also why the whole industry is overvalued. It's basically every company in this industry is overvalued by like at least 50%. So it isn't really too big of a surprise to me, at least. It is trading above our estimates of its fair value. Blah blah blah. Yeah. PE versus industry. So is the PE ratio, which is, if you don't know what that is, measures the current share price relative to the company's earnings per share. A high PE ratio can indicate a company's share price is high relative to its earnings and is possibly overvalued. Vestas is poor value based on its PE ratio compared to the XE electrical industry average. PE versus market. Vestas is poor value based on its PE ratio compared to the Danish market. PEG ratio, which is the price to earnings growth ratio. Vestas is poor value based on its PEG ratio. PEG ratio measures a stock's value while factoring the company's forecast earnings growth rate. A PEG ratio over one of its considered valued, while a value below 1 is considered undervalued. Price to book ratio. Vestas is overvalued based on its price to book ratio. Compares a company's market value to its book value. A low book value indicates a company could be undervalued, but it isn't low, unfortunately. Future growth. How is Vestas wind system forecast to perform in the next 1 to 3 years based on estimates from 17 analysts? 10.1% forecast annual growth. Forecast annual earnings growth. So we can take a look at the revenue. So here you can see it went down 2019. 2020 went up a lot. They think it's going to go down here in 2021, which it is already doing. The revenue will just carry on apparently, but the earnings too. Yeah, that's kind of weird. That they don't think that it will that lockdown will do anything to prevent the growth. They just think that it will boost up. Where are we right now? We are in yeah, that's pretty much there. So they think that the growth will not be too good here in the next year, but then in 2022 it will grow faster. Yeah, that is you can't really say anything to that. These analysts, of course, have their own reasons, and that could, of course, be false or true. So don't take this as investing advice. Just use this to get kind of an overview over the company and and make your own decisions. So earnings versus savings rate. Vestas forecast earnings growth 10.1% per year is above the savings rate, and a savings rate, a rate of return you would receive on a low risk government bond. Earnings versus market. Vestas is forecast to grow faster than the Danish market. High growth earnings. Vestas earnings are forecast to grow but not significantly. Vestas revenue is forecast to grow slower than the Danish stock market. Vestas revenue is forecast to grow slower than 20% per year. Earnings per share growth forecasts. Yeah, that's pretty much the same as the graph we saw before. Future return on equity. Future ROE. And we can just read about what that is. A profitability measure which shows how efficiently a company's management team has used its shareholders' money to generate profits. It's forecast to be low in 3 years' time. Apparently. Quality earnings. Vestas has a high level of non-cash earnings. Non-cash earnings is any reported profits that are not backed up by cash which the company has received. Growing profit margins. Vestas' current profit margin, a percentage of its sales revenue a company has left over after deducting all expenses. That is lower than the last 5 years. So the profit margin is lower. Past earnings growth analysis. So the company has apparently not done well the past 5 years with its earnings, but in the last 1 year it has of course done pretty well. Earnings trend. Vestas earnings have declined by 8.7% per year over the past 5 years. Vestas earnings growth over the past year exceeds its 5-year average. Earnings versus industry. Vestas annual Vestas earnings Vestas earnings growth over the past year exceeded the electrical industry. Return on equity, high ROE, return on equity, a profitability measure which shows. No, we haven't. We have already read that. Vestas return on equity is considered low. Return on assets and return on capital employed. Financial health. How is Vestas wind system financial position? So they check a lot because we can just read here. Short-term liabilities. Vestas short-term assets exceeds its short-term liabilities. Long-term liabilities. Vestas short-term assets exceeds its long-term assets. That was a lot of debt to equity history and analysis. Debt level. Vestas debt to equity ratio is considered satisfactory, and a measures how much a company is financing its operating through debt versus wholly owned funds. The higher the ratio, the more debt a company uses to fund its operations. Satisfactory. We consider a debt level to be 40% below 40% to be satisfactory. Reducing debt. Vestas debt to equity ratio has increased from 17% to 19% over the past 5 years. Debt coverage. Vestas debt is well covered by operating cash flow. Operating cash flow, how much cash a company generates from its core business activities in a given period. It indicates if a company generates enough cash to fund its operations, or if it may require external financing. Balance sheet. Dividends. What is Vestas' current dividend yield? Is it reliable and sustainable? 0.74%. Notable dividend. Vestas dividend isn't notable compared to the bottom 25 of dividend payers in the Danish market. Vestas dividend is low compared to the top 25% of dividend payers in the Danish market. Stability and growth of payments. So that kind of goes up and down right here. It's not the payments have been higher once, 2% in 2018. That was actually pretty high, but is now at 1.1%. Which is 1.665 euros per share. Stable. Vestas has been paying a dividend for less than 10 years, and during its time payments have been volatile. Vestas dividend payments have increased, but the company has only paid a dividends for 6 years. Current payout to shareholders. Dividend coverage. With its reasonably low payout ratio, Vestas dividend payments are well covered by earnings, so they're not given out like a humongous percent of their own capital. Future dividend coverage, it's forecast to be well covered in 3 years. Management. How experienced are the management team, and are they aligned to the shareholders' interests? CEO Henrik Andersen. Henrik Andersen has been Group President and Chief Exclusive Officer of Vestas Wind Systems since August 2019, and he has served as the chief and blah blah blah. Vestas management team is not considered experienced, which is because they don't have 2 years of experience yet. Experienced board. Vestas board of directors, which are a team of people elected by the company shareholders who supervise the management team and ensure the company is acting in its shareholders' best interests, are considered experienced because they have more than 3 years of experience. They haven't got any data on what is happening inside a trading volume, if insiders are buying or selling. Ownership breakdown, not that exciting, to be honest. Employees, yeah, of course they have just had a lot more employees, almost 30,000 employees. Holy, almost 30,000 employees. That is quite a lot. But yeah, that was pretty much it for that. Let's now read about the company. Vestas Wind System is a Danish manufacturer, seller and installer and servicer of wind turbines that was founded in 1945. The company operates manufacturing plants in Denmark, Germany, Netherlands, Taiwan, India, Italy, Romania, the United Kingdom, Spain, Sweden, Norway, Australia, China, Brazil, and Poland, and the United States. And they have a lot of employees. So not really too much that we get to know right there. As of 2019, Vestas has installed over 66,000 wind turbines for a capacity of 100 gigawatts in over 80 countries on 5 continents. As of 9th of January 2019, the company has built production facilities in more than 12 countries, among them China, Spain, and the United States. And revenue in 2019 was 12 billion euros. Operating income, net income 700 million euros in 2019, but yeah, we're in 2021 now, so that is kind of old source right there. But as we can see, last year not very volatile. We have looked at Ørsted, which they are going completely downhill right now. Also, here you can see the year they have performed well in this year, but yeah, they were very high right there, and then they have fallen, and they just keep falling. Holy moly, 5% today. Maybe the time to buy in is very great right now. I don't know. Don't listen to me, guys. Don't put a lawsuit against me if you lose money investing in these companies. It is at your own risk. And with that said, I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share the video. And when I say please subscribe and like, I mean it. It helps me so much that you subscribe, and also just like. Come on, how hard can it be? Just click the button. Come on, god damn it. Yeah, that was it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Link to Simply Wall Street Vestas, the thing, will be down in the description, so you can go and check it out yourself. Like, subscribe, share, do it. Come on. Bye.